Here is a mind-blowing stat for you. The first $100,000 takes up 26% of the time to become a millionaire. So in this video, I'll be showing you how that millionaire status might actually be closer than you think. Hey everyone, my name is Arjun and welcome back to the channel where we talk about all things investing. Today, I'm going to be breaking down a famous quote from billionaire investor and Warren Buffett's partner in crime, Charlie Munger. The first $100,000 is a but you gotta do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a bit. I'll show you through examples why Munger was spot on. The beginning stage feels like such a grind, but it gets much easier later on. By the way, quick side note, he did make this comment back in the mid-90s, so that amount is closer to $200,000 today. Alright, so let's have a look at how this works. Let's assume that we're investing $10,000 every year into the stock market, growing at the historical average rate of 7%. Let's assume that the amount was invested as a lump sum, with the interest calculated at the end of every year. By applying the compound interest formula, you can see how this amount grows over time. The chart tells us that it takes 7.84 years to reach your first $100,000. If we continue following along, you see that the next $100,000 only takes an additional 5.1 years in comparison. The third $100,000 takes 3.78 years, which is less than half the time of that first 100K. Remember, you're continuing to invest the same set amount all throughout this time. The fourth one takes 3.01 years, fifth takes 2.5 years, sixth takes 2.14 years, seventh takes 1.87 years, eighth takes 1.66 years, ninth takes 1.49 years, and the 10th, reaching $1 million, takes 1.35 years. The total time to reach that $1 million is 30 years. The reason is the magic of compound interest, which doesn't really reveal itself until you cross that first $100,000. After that point, your investment snowball has grown enough to really boost your portfolio going forward. I do want to mention that there's nothing specific about the 100K number. The first 10K is also the hardest, just like the first million is also the hardest. Pick any set amount, and due to the nature of compounding, the first X will always be the hardest because the curve is exponential. When we convert these numbers into percentages, the story becomes even more telling. Here is the same data converted into percentage of total time. It's crazy to me how it takes more than 1/4 of the time to reach that first $100,000. Once the $300,000 mark is reached, you are more than 50% of the way to becoming a millionaire. If you're enjoying all this splicing and dicing of data, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting content I have planned. Now, the example I took was simple. $10,000 invested every year. But in reality, your income grows over time, meaning you'll be able to invest even more. Here is a table showing different investment amounts and how long it takes to reach each $100,000. With smaller investment amounts, you do benefit more from compound interest, but it does take you a lot longer. Larger investments have the opposite effect. Putting my data scientist skills to work, I devised one more interesting way of looking at the data. Here is a table that compares the percentage of net worth growth coming from savings versus investment returns. Note that we're still using $10,000 a year invested at 7% return. In year one, assume you're in the process of saving $10,000, so no investment returns. In year two, you add an additional $10,000 and earn 7% on the entire amount, bringing your returns for the year to $1,400. This means your net worth grew by $11,400 that year, 12% of which came from returns. In a similar fashion, you continue doing this for all the rest of the years. What you'll notice is that around the 10 to 11 year mark, your investment returns contribute more than your principal. This tipping point is crucial because up until this point, your contributions were doing all the heavy lifting. Post this mark, your investment returns take over and each additional contribution plays a smaller and smaller part. By the time you reach year 30, 87% of your net worth growth comes from just your investment returns. Personally, I feel like it's hard to have a good intuition of just how powerful compound growth is until you see numbers and charts. It's just one of those things where no matter how much I understand it, it always manages to amaze me. If whatever I've spoken about so far has sparked some motivation for your own investment journeys, then here is a 3-step action plan for you. Create a surplus by living on less than you make. Either work on cutting down your expenses or increasing your income. Make savings rate a key metric, and as you start to earn more money, focus on increasing this over time. Living paycheck to paycheck makes it impossible to save and invest for the future. Once you have savings in place, invest intelligently. Everything I spoke about in this video references invested assets, not money left in your bank account gaining close to nothing in interest. Once you have an emergency fund in place, it's important to put that extra money to work for you. In terms of where to invest, I've made numerous videos on this channel on how I'm a big believer in index funds as the core of your portfolio. This just means that your portfolio grows in line with a particular market index, like the S&P 500, for example. Chasing above market returns comes with much higher risks, and it's almost impossible to keep these numbers up year after year. Therefore, a low-cost index fund is a great starting point for most investors. Finally, wait for the magic of compounding to kick in. It's a small trickle in the beginning, but grows into an unstoppable force over time. Remember that once you have a process set, stick to it no matter what the market is doing. The largest compounding effect is observed at the end of the financial independence journey. You just have to stick around long enough to experience it. This is exactly how Warren Buffett managed to amass 90% of his wealth after turning 65. My message to those folks in the beginning of their investment journeys is this. It's extremely important not to get discouraged by how long it's taking. Stay consistent and keep adding to your investments over time. Once you have enough of a critical mass working for you, compounding kicks in and then sky is the limit. If you have friends that might benefit from this video, do share it with them as well. I'm so close to that 10,000 subscriber mark and would really appreciate your help getting there. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.